So what do I mean by stop showing favoritism? Well, what I mean is that in every church that I've worked at, worship leaders tend to have the people that they go to the most for everything. That can create a lot of problems for a whole host of reasons. Number one being, you never want word to get out as a worship pastor that you have favorites. It's terrible. Terrible for your team, because now all of a sudden your worthiness as a leader is corrupted, because most people are going to start gossiping or talking about you behind your back because you only pick these people to serve on Sunday because they're quote unquote your favorites. There should never be favorites inside of your worship ministry, ever. Worship leaders must stop showing favorites. They must stop critiquing, and they must stop condemning people. And it's so hard for us, I know. And I know it's even harder for those on the outside looking in on a worship leader's life to believe that they aren't doing any number of these things. And if nothing else, I hope that what I've shared for you as a worship leader at least awakens an awareness in you, as it is in me just by sharing this episode, that I need to be proactive in making sure that I'm not presenting myself in that way to other people, not just in my worship ministry, but outside of my worship ministry to the congregation on the whole, so that there is not a perception of me being judgmental or condemning to people, or being a guy who only critiques and gossips and tells people things that aren't true of most people, or showing favorites. And one of the hardest things to do as a worship leader is to inform somebody after an audition that they didn't make the team. And part of that's hard is it can feel like when you're handing out the expression of your judgment of their talent and their ability, it's hard for them not to take it personally, because it's a part of who they are. It's their voice. It's their instrument that they've been playing on for years. And perhaps they've been done a disservice and have not been told the truth about the things that they need to work on. And even more so, and the painful reality is, maybe nobody has actually taken the time to work with them and help them get better. As worship leaders, that's something we should always be striving for. If we simply condemn them as not being good enough to be able to be on the team, we're failing, and we're not acting as God would have us act. We're in fact acting as judge and jury. Now, another thing worship leaders need to stop doing is they need to stop critiquing their team. What do I mean? Really, I mean criticizing their team, both in person and when they're around other people that are not their team. If you're talking about your team in a criticizing or critiquing way around other people who are not your team and have no perspective on what it is worship is, guess what? You're gossiping. You just are. You're talking about someone, or even a group of someone's, behind their back without their knowledge. And you have the potential of presenting them to a group of people who may know nothing about worship music in a way that is unflattering. Gossip. So just don't do it. Instead, what I would encourage you to do is think about critiquing as feedback.